الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهديه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، حياكم الله my sisters. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. ربنا علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما، اللهم آمين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وإنك تجعل الحزن سهلا إذا شئت. يسر لنا أمورنا، اللهم آمين. اللهم فرج هم المهمومين ونفس كرب المكروبين واقض الدين عن المدينين واشف مرضانا مرضى المسلمين وارحم موتانا موتى المسلمين، اللهم آمين. Inshallah, we continue understanding of Surah Al-Furqan, and we have reached verse 28. I'll start to understand 29 as well. I'll start with 27. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَيَوْمَ يَعَضُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي اتَّخَذْتُ مَعَ الرَّسُولِ سَبِيلًا. And day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning a day. We understand it's a day of judgment from previous verses. الظَّالِمُ you already have notes from this verse, so can you help me within the text? If you remember, what does الظَّالِمُ mean? الظَّالِمُ.
Apologies, I'm driving and I won't stay for long, but I know this is the word for oppressors.
الظالم, okay, one of the meaning can be that, جزاك الله خيرا, أحسنتي, the unjust, the person who is unjust, the one that wrongs themselves or others are called ظالم. That day, this person, أعوذ بالله, يعض على يديه, bites, يعض, bites, على, upon, both hands, his both hands. This action of someone biting on the hands, we mentioned or discussed last time. What is it expression of? What makes the person bite? In this life, I don't think you've seen before someone biting on both hands. On Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will say it will happen. But you see in this life, maybe someone biting on their finger, on their maybe they put their fist together and maybe bite on part of their hand. Ahsanti, regret, grief. It's not common for biting with the hand because of grief, but it's sorrow for sure, regret for sure, the feeling of missing something that they couldn't been not missed. Ahsantum. So the الظالم in this day bites on both hands. And then يقول, he says, that doesn't mean there is no she volume, but because the word ظالم in Arabic is masculine, so the verb that goes with it is يقول. He says, or the person says, يا ليتني. يا ليتني. What is يا ليتني expression of? Again, we find it in your notes. So now الظالم is saying something on Day of Judgment. Oh, I wish. But yes, what is يا ليت mean? It means, ليت means I wish, but what is the purpose of using it? When you see regret, okay, I'm waiting for one more input.
Sorry, can I say I can't type?
Yes.
Is the regret which the wish is not going to come true?
Ahsanti, is when someone is wishing for something they know it's not going to happen. So they express their sorrow through saying, oh, I wish. Sorrow of something, oh, ahsanti, the speaker says it's not going to happen. So now the speaker is the ظالم, and he says, يا ليتني, I wish, اتخذت, I took or have taken, مع الرسول, in the company of a Rasul or with a Rasul, مع can mean both, سبيلا, way. So now the ظالم, seeing the Day of Judgment, knowing that what the messages and the messengers told was truth, or is truth in that moment, wishing, biting on both hands and wishing, and that he had taken or she had taken with the messenger away. Okay, and then they did something different than taking the messenger or taking the way, their way to be the same way that the messenger leading them or taking them. So let's see what they, next verse. So this is the verse number 27. Verse number 28, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يا ويلتى ليتني لم أتخذ فلانا خليلا. So يا ويلتى is another call. So يا ليتني was I wish I didn't do, and it expresses sorrow, and the person know for sure it's not going to happen what they're wishing for. يا ويلتى is another expression of what? Of how disgrace this person is feeling. And at the same time, that they are anticipating, they are expecting a horrible thing to happen. Like, and there is no way out of it for them. So they say, يا ويلتى. ليتني, ليتني again. So again, I wish, but this one is negative. I didn't take. فلانا. فلانا, as we said the last time, fulan is to say a person, but when they are speaking, when every zalim on Day of Judgment speaking, they will actually mention the name of that person. So fulanan, khalilan, dear or close friend. So they wish they didn't take the friend. Why the friend specifically? And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam warned us. He said about friends, he said, Al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi. Every person is on the path or in the way. Deen can mean path, way, practice of his close friend. And then he said, فَلْيَنْظُرْ أَحَدُكُمْ مَنْ يُخَالِلْ. So each one of you observes, who are you taking as a close friend or dear friend? So who's the person that you phone when you want to talk to someone, or the person that you usually are texting or updating with, knows about your life or about your work, or who is that person? And are they on Allah's way or not? Are they on the messenger's way or not? According to this flow, we understand that this fulanan, that was their dear friend, was not on the messenger's way, because now they're regretting that they have taken them as dear or close friends. So instead of taking the messenger's way, they took other way. And now they are regretting it. A'udhu billah. And then he continued to say about his dear friend, Khalilan. He continued, al-zalim. So now this is from today. So we look at it word by word. Laqad. So if you know laqad, help me in the text, please. Or of course, if you don't mind having your voice recorded. So laqad. Certainly or indeed. And it's not only one indeed, Romana, it's two indeeds. The lam is indeed and the qad is indeed as well. So why do I have to tell you that? Why do I have to tell you the lam means indeed and the qad means indeed? Because this is something in the Arabic language. The more particles to use to emphasize, it means the matter is really certain. So it's not just saying certainly and that's it. It's like you're saying certainly, certainly. And then this is still A'udhu Billah al-Zalim speaking. So he's saying indeed, أضلني. أضلني. So أضلني should sound to you like what word? أضل. You read word close to this every day or many times in a day in your salat. Which word?
ضالين.
ضالين. So ضالين means those that went lost, those that went in error, those that went off the course, astray. أعوذ بالله. ضال. ضال is the one that doesn't know where is the way. And ضل itself doesn't mean something bad, because you could be lost, not from Allah's way, you just could be lost somewhere. And we call that still in Arabic, ضل. So you could be, for example, walking or finding a location, and then you ضل means you didn't find the place. So he said that this person, he took me away, or caused me to go in error, or led me in error, because he was his dear friend, Khalil. He led me away from, an can mean from or away from, or about. الذكر. What does الذكر mean? الذكر. The remembrance, you could say as well. I will wait for more feedback. You mean dhikrullah, so remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You could say that, but it didn't say dhikrullah. It said al-dhikr with alif lam. So I take your point, my sister. Who else want to share? How do you understand al-dhikr? He, for sure, he's saying al-zalim, remembrance in general. Okay. Okay, so the person that is unjust now, regretting taking that fulanan as a khalil, as a dear friend, he's saying, indeed, he led me away from a dhikr. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls the Quran, in the Quran, you can say reminder too. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls the Quran in the Quran dhikr sometimes. So dhikr with the alif lam like this can mean al-Quran al-Kareem. Dhikr can mean the reminder, any reminder that there is message, reminder that there is a messenger. Remember that he was actually regretting not taking away the messenger. So he knew that there is a message. And he knew that there was a messenger, and that messenger came to remind him. So he didn't take the reminder. So the friend helped him to go astray, or to go away from where the reminder is. And he said, بَعْدَ إِذْ جَاءَنِي. And this is even like, this is what can cause more sorrow, which is, he's saying, بَعْدَ, what does بَعْدَ mean? بَعْدَ, after, حسنتم. إِذ doesn't mean when, so please don't suggest it's when. إِذ can mean as. And جاءني, جاءني can mean, what is جاء? إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح. جاء, came to me. Okay. So that is now another source for sorrow. So this person now, the unjust, the zalim, actually received, heard, knew about the dhikr, knew about the reminder, knew that there is someone there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent with a message to tell them this life is not permanent, this life is going to end, there is another life to invest and to work for, and to have a better place in. So he actually received that. But then he went along with the Khalil friend, the dear friend. And being on that way of the friend misled him, took him away from the dhikr way. And then he mentioned something else that will clear it up even more for you. And now he's admitting it, but of course he's admitting it too late. It's already day of judgment. وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِلْإِنسَانِ خَذُولًا. وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِلْإِنسَانِ خَذُولًا. Maybe you don't know خذولة, but you can help me with the rest. وَكَانَ, what does كَانَ mean? كَانَ. كَانَ can mean is or was. أحسنتي. الشيطان. الشيطان. You know الشيطان. The شيطان. للإنسان. أحسنتم. للإنسان. لي is for, exactly, to, for or to human. خذولا. خذولا. What does خذولا mean? So first I will help you to see the verb خذل. خذل. What does خذل mean? Imagine, I'll give you an example. Imagine someone, imagine that you're explaining that you wanted to make a certain paper, maybe in a government office, anything, like something you needed to do and you need help for doing it. You don't know how to do it. So a person hearing you, maybe a neighbor, maybe a friend hearing you saying that, to say, no, no, don't worry, I will go with you. Are you sure? Like, am I not taking you out of your schedule and routine and so to come with me? No, no, no. Just, when are you going? I'm going tomorrow. Okay, so I meet you in this place, 9 a.m. I'll be there. So you go 9 a.m. You want to go do your paper, and you want as well to respect the other person's time. You're there on time or even before the time. And then the other person doesn't show up. And then you call and then they don't pick up. And then you started asking people, okay, how can I get to that place? And maybe you could go or not. So now the situation you're in is khadala from the other person. The other person khadala you. So how can you explain khadala? The other person in that example, khadala you. Allahu Akbar, ahsanti. Who else can see it? Abandoned you, let you down, disappointed you. Ahsantum. This is what khadala mean. So shaitan doesn't only khadala, he's khadul. We call this a form of or language built word or form. We call it sighat mubalagha, means shaitan does this all the time. He will never be there for you. He will always let you down, because he will always let you to a place to be in error, to be lost, and then leaves you there and then look for the next one. Who lets you down? Always. The one who is always in doing that over and over and over again. Shaitan is always like that. So in here, you get, together with the information about the unjust and them not taking away with the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm saying the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or all the messengers that were sent to humanity, they didn't take away with them, and they took away with the dear friend, and that dear friend led them astray from the right way, from the reminder that was sent to them. And now they ended up following shaitan, and shaitan will continue letting them down. كان الشيطان للإنسان خذولا. Okay, now I want to share with you a verse from a different surah to see what shaitan even does on the day of judgment. How shaitan sets traps for us every single day. In someone says something, you start interpreting in a different way that maybe makes you upset with them, or upset with yourself, or makes you regret, or makes you feel isolated, or makes you feel scared. Shaitan has so many ways to come to us to make us feel unhappy. So we are away from the salat, we are away from dhikrullah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we are involved in that emotion. So I'll share you now this verse, inshallah, and we come back to Surah Al-Furqan. ما أنا بمصرخكم. Okay, so the verse is in Surah Ibrahim. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us what shaitan says on Day of Judgment. And I want you to have a chance to read. I'll explain to you what the verse is saying, but try as well to read along any translation you like. So this is verse number 22 in Surah Ibrahim, Surah number 14. It's okay, my sister. Wa alaikum salam. Okay, so shaitan says, when the matter is already qudiya, when the matter is already done, when all the accounts are settled, when this is the day of judgment and no one has any way to return to this life. He said, indeed, this is Shaitan's word on day of judgment. Allah had promised you the promise of truth. Look here. And I promised you, but I betrayed you. He's literally saying what he's doing now, currently, but he's not saying this now. He's saying that it was already too late. He's saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised you the promise of truth, وعد الحق. And I promised you, but I failed you. I let you down. And then he continued, وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُم مِّن سُلْطَانٍ. I had no authority over you. Those that said, I cannot get rid of Shaitan's waswasa. Waswasa is stronger than me. I tell you, no. Shaitan has no power on you. You have the power. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you power over Shaitan, not vice versa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give access to Shaitan to you, correct, but not power. Look here, and he's declaring it. He's saying, I have no authority over you, except that I invited you, I called you, and you responded to me. That is it. He calls every time. He gives you the thought. He gives you the idea. He gives you the waswasa, let's say. And then what you do is you follow it. And that's it. And if he managed to linger longer to make that more evil and evil, he will. What you can do is say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. No, I don't want to think like that. I don't want to live like that. And you recite Surat An-Nas constantly, and you recite Ayatul Kursi. It doesn't have a power to change you. And then he continued to say, so don't blame me now. Don't blame me in this day, and blame yourselves. So is that khadulan? Is that someone who let you down? So of course here, as you can see, don't blame me and blame yourselves. ما أنا بمصرخكم وما أنتم بمصرخية. You cannot help me out or give me any help. And I cannot help you either, or actually said, I cannot help you and you're not going to help me. So that's it. What he wanted to do, already done. On that day, he cannot ask us to help him for anything, and we cannot ask him to help in any way, because as he already declaring, he's not doing anything. He's just giving you an idea and you follow it. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, that Shaitan said, I deny everything you associated with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with me. So anything you claim that I did it, now I deny all. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, indeed, those that are unjust, zalimin, look, the word zalimin, are in painful punishment. So this verse is as you can see, long verse. We don't have time to go word for word, but take a reference and read it again. And it shows you what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned here in Surah Al-Furqan. وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِلْإِنسَانِ خَذُولًا. Shaitan will continue letting human down, promising them, give them false delusions about ideas, about people, about their families, about their friends, about themselves, and letting them down over and over and over again. Okay, clear? Move on, or question? Okay, alhamdulillah. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us what the messenger said, calling on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when he was calling. And here, Rasul is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you will know in a second why I'm saying it's Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّي. Oh, my Lord. Ya Rabbi. He's turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is calling upon him. Ya Rabbi, inna qawmi. Indeed, qawmi, my people. Ittakhadhu. they've taken or they took. هذا القرآن. So now you see it's Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم. هذا القرآن. This Quran, how they took it? مهجورا. You know what مهجورا? You want to a word to relate to it right away? Is the word hijra or hajra. For sure you know the word hijra or hajara. Hajara is to migrate or to leave from a place to place, not intending to go back to the place you left, or not intending to go as common or as often to the place you left. So that's hajara. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's calling people for Quran, He's guiding people, following what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered him to do. And then he said, Ya Rabbi, inna qawmi, indeed my people, took this Quran as a place of migration. They are migrating away from it. They're not coming to it. They're abandoning it. They're leaving it behind. They let it or left it. Ahsanti. And I know, and you know, that we love to have the Mus'haf and the Quran in our cars, in our offices, in our shelves. But how often do we pick it up and read and understand and try to recite? And sometimes it's just ending up, you go, you clean on top of it, and then you leave it there. I'm not saying you, like you personally, but all of us do that. Except, of course, little of us that grab on the Quran every single day, open it, recite it, read it, try to understand it, help others to read it and try to understand it. Do that. Don't make the Quran, or don't take the Quran mahjuran. Don't abandon it. Don't leave it. Quran has the light. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called it light. أنزلنا إليكم نورا مبينا. We have revealed to you clear light in the Quran. Okay, so this is verse 30. Clear? I'll move on unless there are questions. Okay, after that, verse 31, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وكذلك جعلنا لكل نبي عدوا من المجرمين وكفى بربك هاديا ونصيرا. In the beginning, if you can help, try to help. If you know just one letter, it's okay. The more you helped with it, it goes to your record that you helped us with. And when we leave it, that's when the shaitan has more access and effect. Yes, because he managed to take us away from it. The more you are with the Quran, shaitan try to access you. You find yourself yawning, you find yourself maybe making mistakes every other word, but you are on it. So try always to grab hold on it. So وَكَذَلِكَ, our sister helped us with the wa. What about كَذَلِكَ? كَذَلِكَ has two things. If you can figure them out, inshallah you won't forget. So كَذَلِكَ has the ka, which means such as, or in a similar way, and ذَلِكَ, which means that. So كذلك is like saying and such that. Exactly, such that. Like such as this, what happened before. جعلنا. What does جعلنا mean? We made, أحسنتي ما شاء الله, لكل نبي. لكل. Let's look first at لكل. لي at the beginning, لام with كسرة means for. Okay, كل, every, ما شاء الله, أحسنتم, نبي, prophet. For every prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we made for every prophet عدوا من المجرمين. عدو, what does عدو mean? عدو, enemy. من المجرمين. من is from. What is المجرمين? مجرمين or أجرم, مجرم, criminals. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made for every Nabi, an enemy from the mujrimeen. Why is that? I'm sorry, I have to excuse myself 1 minute, please. Okay, so the question is why every Nabi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made for him adu, enemy from the criminals. Why is that? Here reflection is needed. Test for them. Them who? Them, please try to clear them. Test for the prophets. Okay. What else? Reflections. We were just thinking, why every Nabi has an enemy from the mujrimeen, to show us how they dealt with it and fought. Okay. And also to show us how to deal. Okay, like exactly, mashallah, the same comment. So they are example for the mankind. Okay, mashallah, you're going in the right thought, but I want to hear more sisters. Hear or read what you write, please. Why do you think they are the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has all the power to give them victory. Why do they have enemies from the mujrimeen? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we did that. He did that. Prophets are examples for all of us. Okay. Prophets are examples for all of us. So how do we understand them having enemies? How is this example for us that they have enemies?
Is it because they're trying to stop them from doing the wrong thing, like what we did in the other class?
Okay. Ahsanti, jazakallah khairan. One thought here, my sister is sharing. The prophets are calling for one path, right? Remember, we shared the verse about the shaitan. The previous verses talked about the person who is unjust and he did not take the way of the messenger. He took another way, right? So the prophet or the messenger will always call for one direction. And there are people that don't like this direction. They don't want it. So they're going to fight the messenger. Right? But then you have this. You have a messenger calling you for truth, and you have others telling you that he is not good and what he is doing is not good. And if you follow him, you're going to be you're going to lose. And that's the enemy. Those people are followers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already called them mujrimeen. They're following who? Those mujrimeen are following who? According to what we said, ahsant, from the verse on Surah Ibrahim and from the verse here, they're following shaitan. And shaitan is in the opposite direction where the messenger and the prophet is, right? So if now you have this in front of you, you have the messenger calling you for goodness and someone is telling, no, don't follow. And you have to do something. What do you have to do? Pause a little bit the thought about being example and showing you what to do. No, you as a witness of messenger calling you for truth and someone else telling you no, what the messenger calling you for is wrong, is bad, is going to make you ill or lose. What do you, witnessing this, have to do? Allahu Akbar. You have to think. You have to find out which one of them is truth, right? And then you will make decision and follow. If you follow the way of the messenger, that's why you look here at the end of the verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you the answer. وَكَفَى بِرَبِّكَ هَادِيًا. Look. وَنَصِيرًا. If you pick the way of the messenger, you are in the right way. And this is the huda from Allah to you. And you're going to be increased in huda and in victory. مصيرا. If someone else chooses the other way, they will be for temporary happy that they have now the majority and they are with the shaitan following him. They will be happy for a little bit, but then the day of judgment, what happens? They bite on the hand, saying, I hope I wish I had taken away with the messenger. So it's from the beginning, two ways. From the beginning, a way of the messenger that Allah sent to you, and a way of others. And you have to choose. You have to pick a way. Okay, clear. Okay. Then how then the next point, like you all said, how the Prophet will handle the mujrimeen. Now it will teach you that if you are successful in one idea, in one thought, if you're calling for goodness, that doesn't mean that no one will not fight you. You say, why people are fighting me? I'm not doing anything wrong. Am I doing anything wrong? You say, okay, this is how it is. When someone shows up and calls for goodness, they expect to be fought. Exactly. Not enemies per se. Shaitan is your enemy, your first enemy. But you find someone always against you, calling people or saying to people, no, what you're doing is wrong, or what you're doing is done before, or what you're doing is not as effective. They will criticize what you do in a way or other. Okay, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kafa bihi, kafa. I know that will take longer to explain kafa. Some of you here already from other classes, I explained kafa to them. So if you can share quickly what kafa is, so others can benefit, that will be great. Jazakumullah khairan. But if not, inshallah, I will have to explain it little by little for everyone. The thing about kafa, they translate it not in the right way, not in a good way, not in a appropriate way to say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They say, Allah, for example, they say, but sufficient is your Lord. Sufficient is not the proper way to use about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they almost all of them use the word sufficient. Let me see another one. No, all of them used it. So we're not supposed to think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, astaghfirullah, as sufficient, because sufficient is not a polite, proper way to talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he is the one, Allahu Akbar, ahsanti. No, don't use enough either. Don't, astaghfirullah, enough. When you use enough for your daily speech, when someone is giving you tea and you say this is enough. So it is not proper to say Allah is enough. It's not proper. It's not right. So one of my sisters here, she sent me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who provides you with what you need. It's not about justice in kafa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's the one that gives you what you need. Exactly. So you see, when you say he is the one, don't reduce astaghfirullah, or you don't think that you don't have to think that there is a necessity to translate kafa to one word in English. No, there are more words in English, so use more words. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that provides you with everything you need, whether you are present or not. Whether you're present in that situation or not. I'll say one example, I'll finish with it, inshallah. So imagine that, let's say a few friends were there and they mentioned you, and one of them maybe didn't like something you did. I remember she did that, I didn't like it. But if you did that thing that she's referring to for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make one of them talk and defend you, although you were not there to hear that what she didn't like, and you were not there to hear the defense. But he provided you with what you need, although you're not even there for yourself. That is kafa. That is kafa bi rabbika. Are we clear? Okay, alhamdulillah. كفى بربك هاديا ونصيرا. He is the one that gives the huda, and he is the one that gives the support. You don't have to do or say anything if you trust him alone. You don't have to worry about something. You put your trust in him. And كفى بربك. He will provide you with everything you need while you're there or not. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. Allahumma ameen. And accept our du'as. Allahumma ameen. اللهم إنا نسألك الجنة وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل ونعوذ بك من النار وما قرب إليها من قول وعمل. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك
وعليكم
الله خير.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.